All right, first of all, Pontus, thanks so much for joining us here on Astro Supersport in Malaysia. It's really nice to meet you. I do have to say, your career is quite something. It's been quite a journey for you, starting out in Malmo and then playing such a big role, then moving to Italy, then being part of Leeds United in a really big way, only to be released by Bielsa. But you're finally here. You're finally here in the Premier League with Brentford, with the most incredible achievement for the club. And as a captain, no less, is the reward that much sweeter because of all the effort, because of all the labor in your journey?
Yeah, of course. I think as a championship player, when you fight many seasons, also when you're in championship, not only playing in championship, because we were in semi-final one year and then playoff final two times, and then I was then in seventh one of the seasons. Of course, when you fight 5 seasons for promotion and you really don't do it, and of course, when you then finally do it, it's so nice, of course. So it was a dream come true when we won the final in May against Swansea. Yeah, and like you said, finally I'm here.
Has it really hit you yet that you're in the Premier League? Because sometimes, these things are quite a shocker.
And I think when you play football, there's always something new coming, So I remember after the playoff final, when we were on the pitch with the trophy and just walking around there with all the players, the staff, and everyone. Then you could understand what we have achieved. But then you have, for me, I went to the Euros, and then after Euros, I had to come back for the preseason. So, and then now I'm just in the zone again, where you have to focus on the next opponent, and you can't really breathe out. You have to focus on the next training, the next game all the time. So sometimes, you forget to realize what you're doing. But when I'm talking about it, I'm playing in the Premier League, and of course you can hear it, and it feels good. But when you play football and when you're in your career, there's always something new coming all the time. So you can't really enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the life of a footballer nowadays, isn't it? There's no time to take a breath. There's always the next game coming up. But I have to say that most clubs typically struggle when they do finally get that promotion to the promised land. But Brentford really just seems to fit right in, despite this being the first ever time you're in the Premier League. Obviously, there are some undesirable results here and there. That is football. You will lose some games. But overall, Brentford has really taken the league by storm at the start. Why do you think that is?
No, but I just think when we went up, I think we were ready. I mean, Brentford have a plan for the last couple of 3, 4, 5 seasons to become a Premier League team, and when we made it, I think we were ready for it. And we haven't really changed anything. We just play the same way as we played in Championship. Last year when we played in Championship, we played against 3 or 4 or 5 of the Premier League sides in the cup, and we always performed well against the good teams and against the better teams. And so we haven't really changed anything. We just came up and we were ourselves and played the way that we play football. And the last couple of games we have lost, but I think the performances, those 12 games that we have played have been good. Maybe 1 or 2 have maybe not been top performances, but the rest have been good at that we are satisfied with. Of course, we want a little bit more points, but if we keep performing well, then hopefully it will come.
Yeah, you talk about those performances, those losses haven't been the best, but mostly, obviously, it's due to defensive injuries. How has Thomas Frank tried to fix that, and how has that impacted Brentford's momentum, you think?
No, well, of course, injuries is a part of football, but we have maybe the lowest budget and probably the smallest squad in the Premier League, and of course, when we have injuries on our key players, that of course feels and hurts. But now they're on the way back, and hopefully we have almost every player back as soon as possible and to the coming games. So we don't want to have that as an excuse, but of course when you get key players out of injuries that have played every game for the last 2-3 seasons, of course sometimes it hurts. No, we had a point against Newcastle last game, and now we have a new opponent on Sunday, and hopefully we can get something good out of that.
Yeah, but you talk about Brentford being a small club. What is the biggest difference for you moving from the stature of Leeds United, a massive club, to a club, as Thomas Frank described, a bus stop in Hounslow? How is it different?
Nah, but of course it's a smaller club than other clubs that I played for. I played, like you said, Force in Malmo, it's a massive club, and then I went to Italy, Torino, also a big club, and then Leeds, crazy big club. You couldn't almost walk in the city because everyone is a Leeds fan. And then you move here to a smaller club. I feel the difference now when we're in Premier League, that the interest of this club is much bigger than what it was when we played in Championship. I say we have very passionate fans. We always, wherever we go away, and it's always full. At home, it's always full. So I think the fans we have are very passionate, and they support us, and they're big reasons why we are here. They helped us a lot last year when we get promoted. So even though they're a smaller fan base, they are still good enough, and I'm happy to have them.
You speak smaller fan base, but is the atmosphere in the community stadium different? Because again, Allen Road is 37,000. I think the community stadium it's like 17,000. Is the atmosphere different?
The atmosphere is really good. I think it's a smaller stadium, of course, but the way they built it with the stands, I think the sound bounces very well. And yeah, some of the games we have been unbelievable. I played in big stadiums during my career, and yeah, standing on a stand since I was a kid, and yeah, been a football fan myself. But yeah, the atmosphere we have had here has been up there as one of the best I've achieved some of the games. So I'm happy, even though we have a smaller fan base and a smaller stadium, we still have a very good atmosphere. So.
But how did you cope leaving Leeds, though, emotionally, after being such a massive part of the club?
I mean, when I did it, it was a bit hard, a bit, like you said, emotional. I put all of I had into that club. I always do that. The team I play for, I put the whole of my soul and whole of my body into it. And I loved every second of my career at Leeds. And of course, when I left, then it was a bit sad, and to leave all my friends and yeah, the fan base and everyone that liked me there. But yeah, now it's 3 years since, and you start to forget. And now I love every second of my football career here. Like I said, I'm a Premier League player now for Brentford, and yeah, creating history here. And yeah, I wouldn't change that with anyone. So of course, in football, that's how it is. You know, there's different stages of your career.
Yeah, different stages. But I do have to compare a little bit in the sense of Bielsa transformed Leeds. But Brentford itself, the football model of Brentford is quite different than any other English football club, really, in terms of their approach to their academy, their underage groups, and the recruitment as well. How familiar are you? I don't know how familiar are you with Brentford's recruitment approach, and how have you seen that being fruitful to the club?
No, I'm very interested. I have a tight relation, first of all, with Thomas, the coach, but then I have a tight relationship with the sport director, and I'm very interested in all of this. I try to learn, and hopefully I can bring this home when I then one day move home to Sweden and start to work there to take influences from what I've learned in this club. So I would say every day I learn something new here. From whoever I talk with the staff, or if it's Matthew, the owner, or whoever I've talked to, it's always something you can learn, and that's the interesting part with this club, that they work in a way that is very interesting, and they try to find new ways all the time. And yeah, you just mentioned some of them, and I think that's the nice thing of being here. There's always something new happening, and they try to open new ways all the time, and I like that.
Well, what have you learned about Brentford and the way that they run on data, though? I mean, they really revolutionized data in football. How much stats are actually involved in the general running of the club? And what was your stat that stood out to Brentford during your recruitment? Did they ever tell you what was it that attracted them to you in terms of stats?
No, but I mean, that season when I came from Leeds to Brentford, I was in the team of the season, both picked by the experts, but also picked by the players. So I had a very good season. But I remember it so well. When my agent called, the sport director Rasmus, they knew each other a little bit from before. And when he said that I was available, then he said, okay, but I have to run Pontus' name in the data and see what it says. And then 30 seconds later, he called my agent back and said, yeah, we're ready to go. So I think it was a good outcome in that data. No, like I said, I'm very interested in it, and I think my way of seeing it as well have changed. I'm looking more into performances than the actually result, and that's also why I'm so calm, because I know that we have performed very well so far, and if we keep doing this, then I know we're gonna be fine. So yeah, the result is not everything. I'm looking more at the performances, and that's probably the main thing that Brentford do different.
All right, so I want to talk about performances. Then you've defended against Championship strikers versus Premier League strikers. What is the difference, and who's been the best striker you've ever defended against?
I would say that the difference is here. You give away one chance, and often they take it and score. That's the biggest difference to the Championship. Last couple of games we conceded a little bit more goals than we normally do, but that's also because they're so good. You get punished by giving away 1 or 2 chances. But the best striker, I don't know. I think in Premier League, all of the 20 teams have a big striker, a good striker, a world-class striker. So for me, as a centre-back and a central defender, you always play against top-class and world-class players. So it's difficult to pick out one, but just every game, for me, it's very hard, because you play against the best teams and the best players in the world.
Would you pick out a top 3, maybe? A top 3 hardest you've ever had to face?
I would say, I played against Liverpool, but they play more with, like I said, fluent front trio. I would say all of them was fantastic, but difficult to pick out one, but maybe Salah then. And then, of course, Lukaku. I like Lukaku. For me, Lukaku is one of the toughest players to play against in the whole world, because he has everything, not only pace, not only power, he has more or less everything. So him as well. And then, Antonio in West Ham is also very good. but it's hard to pick out one.
They're all talented. Do you feel like because you played as a striker when in your teenage years as well, that was your first position really that you sort of nailed down at first. Do you think that helps you to be a better defender because you had that experience as a striker?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but if I was striker, I would never play in Premier League, so I'm not even close to thinking.
Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm sure if you really gave it your all, you would have been a striker today as well, I'm sure, long term.
Maybe a championship striker I could be, but I don't think a Premier League striker. So, but yeah, sometimes they can help me a little bit, especially when I was younger, when I just came into centre back. Then, of course, I was thinking almost like a striker, so then it was a little bit easier. But now I almost forget how a striker thinks, so I don't think it helps me that much anymore.
No, but I think the first incident that sort of placed you as a centre-back was an injury to a teammate. But when it became clear that that was going to be your long-term position as a defender, as a centre-back, was it your decision to switch position or was it the coach's?
I would say both. I mean, they asked me, and if I said no, then maybe they would send me away to another club or loan me out or something. But I said yes, and yeah, I haven't looked back since. I mean, I love playing a defender now, and that's really me. I can't see myself playing something different, and so I'm just so happy that they asked me 10 years ago to play centre back.
No, don't ever miss being a striker. Don't ever miss scoring 10, 20 goals a season. No.
That would never happen.
Right. Okay. Just one final one from me then. Speaking of Thomas Frank as well, we spoke about him previously. I've personally been enjoying a lot of his press conferences. He seems like a very witty, very great sense of humor kind of guy, generally easygoing. But a lot of players actually tell me that there's a side to managers that the public and the media really don't see. So I want to know from you, what is he actually like in the dressing room, in training? Is there maybe a stricter side to him that he doesn't show to us?
To be fair, I don't see all of his press conferences. I've seen some of them. I think he's quite similar to how it is in normal life, general life. He's a very positive, open person. He has a good relationship with his players. Yeah, not only me as a captain. I think he has a good relationship with more or less every player in the squad. And that's him. He cares about everyone. He cares about all the players, all the staff, everyone on the training ground. He's happy, and yeah, he's a very positive guy, almost too positive sometimes. And I like him a lot. And football-wise, he's very, very sharp. Analytically, he's fantastic. He reads the game very well, and yeah, full of praise of him. He's a fantastic person, a fantastic coach. Okay,
massive Scandinavian community in Brentford. Have you tried to expose the rest of your teammates to your Scandinavian cultures?
They're so tired of us. They feel like they're playing in a Danish club, and I feel the same. I'm Swedish. I feel like I'm playing in a Danish team. So yeah, there's too many Danes here.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Pontus. It's really, really nice chatting with you. And of course, all the best for the rest of your season.
Thanks. Thank you.